A child doesn't belong to the father or the mother. A child belongs to the ancestors. The words of an African proverb that bring us into another episode of the Jamaican Dadz podcast. I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Alan Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
I'm Garth Williams, and we are Jamaican Dadz. This program is all about providing Jamaican men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics which concern our masculinity. Now, we're dads of varying amounts of experience from different backgrounds and with different worldviews, but we're all brethren who are committed to Jamaica land we love.
Absolutely. This podcast is a safe space for men to explore the issues that are important to us, especially as fathers. Additionally, most of the information, most of the content out there is produced for women and by women, and nothing is wrong with that, but we need a space for conversation that is driven towards making us better.
And we've got a good show headed your way today. Coming up later, Dad Try This has another cool life hack for fathers. And in Fresh to Death, we'll share tips for choosing the right deodorant or antiperspirant.
Our discussion in the meat of the matter this week is From Conception to Childbirth with Dr. Michelle Campbell. But before we get there, let's fire off with the opening salvo. In this week's opening salvo, we discuss lessons from an online article entitled Diego, the 100-year-old tortoise who fathered 900 babies, returns to the wild.
Yes, by the way, you need to point out that he saved his species.
Yeah.
He was not just being a wild man.
I think that's the most important. He's not sowing his royal oats,
Just
so to
so.
speak.
Well, he was.
Yeah, he was. But he was doing a hero's job.
Yes,
that was what he was doing. Diego is a hero.
So according to an article from the Smithsonian Magazine, a breeding program for the Galapagos Española tortoises has ended after more than 40 years. Española Island is now home to a stable population of 2,000 Española tortoises, recovered from only 12 females and 3 males in 1976. So he's been going at it for a while. The program started with only 2 male tortoises until a third, named Diego, was found in the San Diego Zoo. He had lived in the zoo for about 30 years before joining the breeding program on the Galapagos Island, Santa Cruz Island. And Diego, who is now over 100 years old, has had a big impact on the program. He has a strong personality, they say, and he isn't shy about sex.
Imagine the conversations they had with him,
which earned him quite a reputation online. Now, he and the 14 other tortoises in the breeding program are preparing to return home. So, gentlemen,
retirement.
First and foremost, I think we should all applaud
Diego.
Well done.
Well done. You represented well.
But it's an interesting story because, I mean, you think about it. What would you do? Would you want to be afforded the opportunity to save the species? Let's say something catastrophic happened on planet Earth. And we were among the only men, along with probably twice the number of women, to replenish the Earth. Marlon.
Are the women cute? I don't know. This is a very important question.
You can do it with your eyes closed.
Look here. The fact of heroism is that it is not about you, it's about the species. So that is not even a consideration. It is purely functional.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I mean, Adam did it. Adam did this part.
I think, what is good about Diego is that he was doing it in a context where somebody's going to take care of his offspring.
Yes.
Right? So he had nothing to worry about.
True.
The problem is that I guess sometimes there is that innate feeling like part of your job as man is to ensure that the lifeline continues.
Yes, that we don't
spread
dead
the
out,
breed, right? But at the end of the day, the real challenge is, can you take care of the children that you bring forward? That is the challenge.
In my opinion, I think that many men out there seem to have a Diego complex that they've created all by themselves.
There was no need.
It seems as if they think that the species is dying out and they have to go and now compensate for these offspring that need to be had, and so they end up having 26 children with weird names.
Yeah.
Why that sounds so specific? I thought it was 27 though.
Are we still talking about tortoises?
Maybe we're speaking of elephants.
But it is a challenge. In my view, you really do see a lot of, well, especially Jamaican men, where it is almost as in your manliness is determined by how many children you can bring forward. But it's not necessarily
only have
a
one
correlation
Yes.
between. So what I like about the Diego story and what is my belief is that every child should be planned.
Yes.
Every child should be planned.
Yes.
So in Diego, he had 900, but they were all planned.
Yes.
Right?
They were planned by somebody else.
Yeah, but
they were planned
there was a
for.
structure. There was it wasn't by chance. You never had the 900 by
Just careless, so.
happenstance.
Yes. Yeah,
right. What we need more and more in societies is that men need to plan to have children. So you need to decide that, listen, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, or 10 if you want to have 10. But you have to plan it and you have to make provisions for those children.
Yeah, but,
When,
you know,
when we talk about planning, like in class, I would always say, students, family planning relates to the timing, spacing, and numbering of children. So you decide not
is
just
better
a
than
number.
2,
I want 4. No, it is about when you want them, how you're going to space them out, and how many of them you ultimately plan to have. So if you ultimately plan to have 1 after 25, that's family planning. You understand? If you're going to say, I'm not going to have the next one before this one is 5 for this reason, that's planning, you know?
Because
And
yesterday, I was having a little link up with some friends, and all, aka with the day bar. We're discussing. And somebody mentioned someone, because we're talking about Father's Day and everything, about some man who had quite a few kids. And I'm like, but that don't make sense, And he's like, no, but him can afford them, man, right? And based on who he said it was, some money did that. So he probably could, but I said that still don't make sense. Because there is no way he could adequately, even with planning, spend enough time with all of them amount of him kids over him. And so I'm like, and that is part of it also. So when you said 10, it's not even just about the affording, because you'll be able to afford it, but can you afford it time-wise?
Right.
And it's not a case of, time-wise, in time to spend time with your picnic and all them things there.
I had a similar conversation on the weekend too, where a friend of mine saw the Jamaican Dadz Father's Day promo, and she's like, "You speak such good English. Clearly, you're not trying to reach the man who have five baby mother and 1 on the way." And I'm like, "But that's just the reason why we're doing this show. We want to be able to reach every father, inclusive of the man who have 5 different baby mother and 1 on the way, because it's about helping us to be more responsible."
But then she make it sound like having 5 baby. Well, she's saying that having 5 baby mother
it's
and 1
synonymous
on the
with
way
lack of intellect?
Yeah, exactly.
That is what she said.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
Exactly.
And, well, we had that conversation separately. I don't want to go there, so no. But one of the conversations it sparked, because my wife overheard the voice note, was that, listen, you can have 5 kids with 5 different baby mother, and you can afford financially. But just to your point, Marlon, can you afford to be in the space with 5 of them? When you're at home with 1, you have 4 that you cannot be in a space with them. If you help 1 with homework at 8 p.m. in the evening, the other 4 now have homework too. You understand me? And that kind of a thing. My whole point was, if you having 5, try and see if you can limit the number of baby mothers. I'd say to 1.
Maybe 2. That's what I was going to go to in relation to the number. It depends on the structure of the family. So if you have 10, as on, the reality is in Jamaican history, in the old days, you used to have 10, 11, 12, but it was 1 father, 1 mother. For that duration.
If we're talking about real old-time Jamaican, yes, you're going to have 12 within it, but so 1 out the road. Let us be honest. 1 out the road.
But they don't want out the road now get the start of father.
Because, my grandmother, I think, is how much of that? It was about, I think it was 13 and 1 passed from early. I think it was about Yeah, about 13 kids in all, and one passed.
My grandfather was on the low side, but my grandfather
did have one on the
had
road
6.
too.
Right. But it was 6 with one woman, all grew up in the same household.
Right.
So he was literally father to all of them and then grandfather to all of us. Right. So despite having the numbers and despite starting out from
We
very
talking
humble
Grandpa
beginnings,
Neil?
Yeah, roots. The
Roots.
The original
Roots.
Yeah, man. There is a man where, when him see him say, where has the roots? And you have to say, where has the roots? So everybody call him
Neil
Roots.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, so he had 6. But you see, in that, even in his instance, all of it was planned.
Right.
All of it was planned, and you could see from the spacing.
Yeah.
So he had the resources to send all of them to the school that they wanted to go, right? Fortunately, he had a decent job at Alpat and Port Kaiser. So my thing is having the plan, and in planning, I agree with you, Marlon. In planning, what you have to do is not just planning to be able to financially be there, but it's planning to
Because
be
money
able
is just
to
one
emotionally
resource.
be there, yeah.
Time is another resource, as
And
you
probably
pointed out.
even more
So
important
exactly,
resource. Yeah.
exactly, because then, and one of the reasons why you see it in homes where you have whole heap of picnic, even under the same roof, you have children grow up with all kinds of emotional, psychological issues that him never talk to me as much, or I never spend as much time with, and this is under the same roof, you know.
Yeah, you know that.
Much less outer road.
Parents won't admit it, but parents have favorites.
No,
Parents,
you're just not
they
allowed
will
to say
not-
that.
No,
Not in my mother's house.
I have a
Not in
favorite
my mother's
daughter.
house.
I have a favorite daughter and a favorite son.
But parents
Makes sense.
have favorites. Because in my house, and they won't admit it.
No,
But-
don't say it.
Don't
No,
say
can't
it.
say it.
Don't
No,
say
you
it.
can't say it.
No,
Oh,
no,
you
don't
can say it? You can say it?
You
Really?
can't say it.
You can
Okay.
say it, but don't.
No, but give me here. We go here.
No, don't say
My
it.
sister
Yeah.
was my father's favorite.
Oh, but that's easy.
All right? I am my mother's favorite. We
Well,
know that.
we're not sure
Sorry,
about that.
sorry to my
So your
brother.
brother
my
is
brother.
nobody's favorite?
No, he's both of them's favorite.
So like I said, don't say it.
Don't say it.
Don't-
Yeah.
don't say it.
Yeah.
Hey, let's just hope that Steve don't see this episode.
No. Well, you know, I won't have a son, so there's no really juggling of time.
Hey,
But
can you
even
imagine you're an only
but
child
even
and
that
still not the favorite?
juggling time between, as we're going to discuss in other programs, between work and all you have to do.
Sorry,
And-
maybe that's why you're the only child.
Anybody's the only child?
Well,
Yeah.
Oh.
no,
Yeah.
no,
No, but I'm saying, imagine being an only child and still not
No,
the
they're like-
favorite.
And they're like,
Maybe
nope,
that's
no
why.
more. Never
I
again.
hate that. I hate that. Yeah, but so even juggling between one child and life is tough.
Trust
So
me.
as you go up with children, the amount of children, it's but they're gonna have those.
no.
No, I think the mothers will look after them.
Yeah, pretty much. Our nature will.
Well, my concern is there no inbreeding problem? It's just weird to me. I'm just thinking about it.
I don't know that there's a problem for tortoises.
Yeah, I don't think so. Genetic testing of
no,
young
but
tortoises.
no, inbreeding
Let's hear it,
can
let's hear
weaken
it.
animals.
It can, but in the case of tortoises, I don't think. I think because of how human DNA is constructed,
Yeah, it's-
then inbreeding is a problem for us as a species. But for like tortoises, etc.,
be different.
it might be a little different based on their
And,
genetic.
and that was just my mind
genetic
went
makeup.
off left field. I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it.
No, it's
So I was a 3 man and when I said, how much women?
It was like 12 of them. Genetic testing of young tortoises living on Hispaniola Island has been done regularly since the 1990s. Now listen to this. It revealed that Diego fathered about 40% of them. Another tortoise called E5. No, listen. Diego gets a proper name
And
and he's just
E5.
E5.
Talk about favorites.
Yeah, exactly. Not even E9.
Interestingly, E5 is responsible for the other 60%. The third male, E3, produced very few offspring.
So like E-flop.
I know, right? Anyhow, I don't know. Well, you know what? At the rate at which the population globally is growing, we won't, I don't think, have to be responsible for doing any kind of replenishing.
But you know we have a problem now.
But
in
Jamaica?
the Jamaican context.
In terms of
So our birth rate has slowed significantly.
but that
It
might be a
has.
good
It
thing.
No, at one point it was a good thing, but the reality now, I think the real challenge is the disproportionate
Male,
birth rate
female?
in various areas.
Oh.
So what you do find is a lot of people who may have financial resources, and I'm just taking from a financial resources point, to treat with dealing with the financial part of caring for a child. They're not having children.
And that is something all over the world.
There was
People
something I saw in a
who
movie.
don't necessarily have the financial resources
Yeah.
are still having a lot of children. And it largely comes down to planning.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we can't get to ventilate that particular matter right
That we need
now.
to talk about.
But that's something that
Yeah, I want
Right.
to talk about that. Yeah.
Add that to it.
Yeah, that will come up in a future episode. And that's it for the opening salvo. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, it will be time for the meat of the matter, conception to childbirth. We've got obstetrician gynecologist Dr. Michelle Campbell joining us. It will be a little different in terms of the setting for the interview, but nonetheless as riveting. Please send us an email, JamaicanDadz@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Jamaican Dadz. And if you haven't subscribed already, do so on YouTube. Just look for Jamaican Dadz. That's where we are. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to the Jamaican Dadz podcast. I'm Dennis Brooks, along with Marlon, Floyd, and Garth, of course. If you're just joining us, you're right in time for the meat of the matter. And today, in the meat of the matter, we are discussing from conception to childbirth. You know, helping to guide us through this segment, of course, we have obstetrician and gynecologist Dr. Michelle Campbell. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you very
You
much.
are the first woman to be on the program.
I feel special.
Yes.
She's the first guest, actually.
Yeah.
And a woman shall lead them.
Yes. Woo! All right, Doc. Before we go any further, please join in the discussion on Twitter using the hashtag Jamaican Dadz. And as usual, you can find us all over the internet, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram at Jamaican Dadz. Just look for it, you will find it. All right, so from conception to childbirth, we've got an obstetrician gynecologist in the studio. Doc, first and foremost, OB-GYN. What's the difference between obstetrics and gynecology? I think I know, but it better you explain it.
Okay, so obstetrics has to do with the care of the pregnant woman.
Speak up.
And gynecology has to do with the care of the woman anytime outside of her pregnancy, basically, from the time of puberty and even all the way up to a more mature age. We don't call ourselves old anymore. More mature. Yeah?
Right.
Okay.
So
most doctors do
women throughout their lifespan will visit the gynecologist.
For sure. And yes, Floyd, most doctors do both.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, cool.
Most OB-GYNs do both. Yes.
How do you choose a good one?
Whoa.
Yeah.
What a question.
Ask your friend.
I mean, how do you choose a good doctor, period? Ethically, we're not supposed to advertise. I don't know if you know that.
Yes.
So it's really word of mouth. Your work should speak for you.
Right.
Okay.
You know, all right, and I step on any toes on social media, but the truth is that many people suggest, particularly women, suggest that men should have nothing to say. If you don't have a vagina, then you don't have a voice, almost. But what about
On women's matters or matters of women's bodies.
Yes.
Right.
But the truth is, well, at least my truth is that if you want to be a part of the process, if you want to be responsible, then you participate how you can, but without overstepping your bounds. How do you actively participate in that process?
The process of pregnancy.
Right. The journey of pregnancy.
journey.
Father's role.
I know the process.
Just had to clarify. Okay. I agree with you totally. Without the man, there could be or would be no pregnancy, right? So support. I mean, pregnancy is a time of radical, emotional, physical, all changes, right? And so you can just be there for your spouse, for your partner, especially as it relates to her obstetric visits, which will be quite regular, initially every 4 weeks, then every 2, then every week.
So it's important for the man to go along, even though the man is not going to really like play a role.
Yeah,
he
you play
plays a
You carry
role.
your hand
What's
back
the
and
role?
sit
The
down
support, yeah, because especially there are times where during the pregnancy, I mean, a lot of things will need to be explained. If unfortunately the patient develops a complication, the presence of the man just being there to share the news. And also, have you heard of pregnancy brain?
Yeah.
Women become, it's a real thing, women become very forgetful.
Okay.
So if it's even to just be there to remember what the doctor says, you know, but to also help
Or to at least
her
write it down and show it back to
interpret,
her.
yeah, nicely, yes,
Yes.
not like you always forget seat here,
Oh,
but
no, let me tell you what worked
just
for me,
nicely.
right? To having learned the information, I put it in a little document, and I
right,
send it and I say, here, honey,
There you
remember
go.
this, rather than me trying to interpret what the doctor
There
said,
you
because
go.
it becomes my word versus what the doctor said
There
and
you
how mommy
go.
feel. When she see the words on the paper on the screen, she
Yes.
can go, oh yes, the doctor did actually say this.
There you
thing.
go.
You know, and I'll speak frankly. I think I learned this the hard way.
Oh, Lord.
Right, I learned this the hard way, and I tell all new fathers that, listen, go to the visits. For me,
Yes.
there are only, in my mind, certain critical visits, like maybe the first visit, or when you're going to find out the sex of the child, things of that nature. But you realize that the concept of support is really
Trust me, it is.
much more heightened during that
is.
time. So, you know, as I've always said with this program, we don't always get it right the first time. And
Right.
why we form this program and why we have Doc here. So, yeah, it's true. It makes your life much easier.
Now that you have
I
this
interject.
information, you can use it on the next.
Well, you know, I'm trying to convince that I know all this information. But look at me. Next journey already.
I went to every visit. You know,
that's
that much
wonderful.
I did. I went to every visit, but if I'm going to be honest, I think for conception to childbirth, if I was getting graded for it, I give myself a B minus. I think my wife probably gives me a C.
F.
And no, I don't think I failed. I think I get a C. But it was in post-birth conversation that I realized where I fell down. My wife very independent, so she's out to whatever, and not because she bore the weight well meant that it wasn't heavy.
Yeah.
And I
Correct.
did not realize
Correct.
she was really
That's
bearing
such
it
an
well.
awesome,
Exactly.
yes.
But sorry, we have questions. We should.
Right.
Yes.
Well, but all right.
We're not
In
gonna ask the question
choosing,
then,
in actually choosing an OB-GYN, is it
Yes.
automatic that if you have a gynecologist that you just continue, or do you? Is it
Oh,
it's
very
something
good
that you should
question.
consider
Right.
a change?
That's a good question.
Very good
indeed,
question.
Yeah. The answer to that is no. It's not automatic. Because let us say, for example, the pregnancy is anticipated to be a high-risk one, you may need to book for care with a high-risk OB-GYN. Or an OB-GYN who can deliver you at a high-risk institution. You know.
Sorry, when you say high, like
Yeah, high
an
risk.
institution that caters to
High-risk
high-risk
pregnancies.
Oh, 'cause when you say
Right.
high-risk
Yes.
institution,
Right.
Give us some high-risk circumstances, for example.
Yeah, what makes
Okay,
a
so
pregnancy
for
high risk?
example, if the woman is hypertensive,
Okay.
you can anticipate potential complications. If she's diabetic, if she has chronic illnesses like sickle cell, cardiac disease, I mean, for sure, those women should not be cared for wholly and solely privately, because of the anticipation of further complications, preterm birth. You're going to need to be in an institution where there is access to a special care
So
nursery.
like a type A hospital or
A
something
type A institution is what it's called, yes, to be specific.
like that. Hey, sounds smart.
Yeah.
All right, now, still sticking with the role of the father during the journey of pregnancy, right? I mean, we're all here in committed relationships. Two of us are married men, and two are not. But we're all operating in the context of a
Did you
committed.
say yet?
Yet.
Thank you.
Yes, married yet.
Thank you.
Yeah, please, just yeah.
Okay.
Put the yeah,
Just slide that one in.
Yes, my sincerest apology. Right? But does it matter, Doc, or should it matter if, in terms of the role of the father, if the context of the relationship, should that, I mean...
It ought not to. I mean, whether you are married, common law, even estranged at the time of the pregnancy, you are still this life coming into the world. You're still his or her guardians. You're still his or her parents. I mean, more above all else. And so, you know, as adults, even if there is estrangement, dad and mom, because a lot of times women will be resentful and then try to push the father out of the picture, even if the father is trying to be in the picture. But you can still, I'm thinking of a couple right now who is in a situation like that. And the dad still comes, you know, he still is actively taking part in his parent role. He comes, he sits, he listens to the information, he helps interprets, he asks questions. It's his child.
Yeah. Because ultimately about the child.
Big up yourself,
Exactly.
Father.
Yes.
I think sometimes it's very difficult, especially, you know, one of the circumstances maybe it was completely not planned. You're not in a relationship. You don't have any, it's just a
Right.
oops, oh God.
Oops, baby.
Right.
But at the end
But
of the day,
still.
there's a child involved.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a quick break here on the Jamaican Dadz podcast. We'll be right back with more in the meat of the matter.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Jamaican Dadz podcast. I'm Garth, along with Marlon, Floyd, and Dennis, and we've got obstetrician and gynecologist Dr. Michelle Campbell with us as we continue our discussion about from conception to childbirth. Of course, please continue the conversation on Twitter with the hashtag Jamaican Dadz, and we're all over the internet, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Jamaican Dadz. Just look for us, you'll find us. All right, now, Doc, let's continue because the first trimester, right? Everything from the pregnancy test to the end of those 90 days or thereabout. What happens to mommy's body? Like, and how do we help? Because things shift up really fast.
Really quickly.
All right. The first trimester is arguably the roughest part of the pregnancy.
Why is that?
Because morning sickness is a myth. Because for many women, you're sick all day. Yeah. Fortunately, the majority of women won't be vomiting all day, but you'll certainly be nauseous, you will be bloated, you will be gassy. Initially, you might have some cramping, you just feel terrible. Your breasts are tender, you're peeing every hour. It's not nice, yeah? So that's just the physical changes. And then on top of that, you have all of these emotional changes. You know, you buck your toe and you don't understand what's happening in life. Why has this come upon you? Why your toe? Why this life? Why now? You know, that's kind of how you feel. And it's really overwhelming emotionally and physically.
Why does that happen though? Is it because of the hormonal changes as a result of the pregnancy?
Definitely. So, I mean, there is a significant increase in the female hormones, estrogen and progesterone, that, you know, cause all of these symptoms really.
So I think a lot of men get caught in that first trimester trying to decide whether you should get out the way, right? or embrace, or
Exactly.
what do men do during that time? And a lot of the things that are happening we're not literally seeing.
Right.
So
that's it.
In that first month, 2 months, you know, your partner seems completely normal, right? Looks
right.
maybe.
Appears normal.
Looks, yes.
Yeah. So what do you do?
Know your partner, because there are some women who need space when they're not feeling so wonderful, yeah? Or there's some women who need constant attention and affection when they're not feeling so wonderful, yeah? Use your judgment as well. And just, I would say, go out of your way. If this is your nice level, you need to just go out of your way to bump it up a notch every day.
And take some buff.
Every day. Yeah, and understand that it's coming from a place of emotional, maybe turmoil, frustration. Yeah?
I have a question because, I mean, sorry, honey, but you are instructed to get out of the way, but then when you get out of the way, you get cussing because you follow the instruction.
Yes.
So,
But that's why I say you need to know your partner and use your judgment. So maybe you need to get out of the way for a little bit and then circle back. You know?
I mean,
Is there
so
anything, a
alright.
great question to ask? I don't cut you. Can I do anything for you? Just leave it open. Let her say, bring me some ackee and saltfish that you just picked. Go and catch the saltfish, pick it yourself. Let her give you the instructions, you know? And that will help.
This is a totally random question from an anonymous guy that's like this.
asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Asking for a
That's
friend.
all right.
Is it possible that the change in hormones can make a woman like literally hate the man?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Like for the whole pregnancy?
Yeah, because
Time out.
very possible, Dennis. Very possible.
This reminds me, you know, there are so few calls that I might have gotten when your friend was
the same friend. Oh, it's the same friend.
yeah.
That's a good question. I don't think a lot of men know. For real.
Yes, yeah.
It don't, so the point is,
Yes.
it don't necessarily have nothing to do with you.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It really has nothing to do with
It could
you.
be Denzel Washington should have
It has everything to do with
What she's
just
going
how
through?
emotionally unstable she is
I
at that
think
point.
Please repeat that. Just say that. Look into that camera and say it.
You know, I purposefully didn't want to use that term, you know, because then one of you are going to say, and even the doctor said you are emotionally unstable.
And the camera is right
I
there.
refuse.
Let me-
I refuse.
I think one of my new pro tips is that I have.
Can you
learned
be a
that-
pro after one?
Yeah. Especially when you made a lot of mistakes. No, I learned the hard way. I think sometimes we start the reassurance late. In other words, the same thing I'm saying, that you don't see the appearance changes, but your partner feels them.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So you don't see that the nose has changed, but
Yes.
they feel like the nose has gotten bigger.
Yes.
Right? So when you finally see it and start the reassurance, it's
long
too
time,
late.
yeah.
So I find the earlier you start the reassurance
Correct.
that, you're still beautiful,
Yes,
still
honey.
love you.
Right.
Yeah.
Your body is going through all of these changes, but you're still the woman I love. You're still beautiful. You're the vessel for my creation, our creation.
We can take some notes.
No, we have it on record. We'll play it back.
But then, Doc, which kind of takes me back to a previous question about the context of the relationship.
Right.
Because if we are not together,
Right.
if we've made an oops baby,
Oh, no,
right?
we don't even like that term.
Yeah, but
Dar.
I know, but things happen, you
Right,
know.
right.
An
Unplanned.
Unplanned, thank you.
pregnancy.
an
Yes.
unplanned pregnancy in the
Yes.
context outside of a relationship,
Right.
So you're making a deliberate attempt to not reassure that you are, I've chosen this and I've
No,
chosen
but
you.
then
How do you navigate
So
that
you
because you're not
reassure
together?
differently. You're not going to reassure her and say,
That you love her.
you're
Yeah.
the beautiful woman I fell in love with.
Yeah.
But you can say, I still care for you. I still
You're not in
respect
this
you.
alone.
Right.
Yes.
This
You and
alone.
I will co-parent. You and I will navigate this journey together. I'm here for
here,
you.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Those are the things
that's
I
a-
want to get on.
Right.
Because a lot of people find themselves in these kinds of
Of
situations.
course,
And
of
as a
course.
result of that, sometimes they find that during the emotional turmoil and how it
Yes.
manifests,
Yes.
sometimes it will drive the man away because in his mind too,
Understood.
he's going, me never sign up for this,
Yes.
you know, yada, yada,
Right,
yada.
right.
And then, you know.
But then your wonderful initiative here will enable men to understand that, yes, women will be emotionally not very stable, but you can still assert yourself. I am here.
Yes.
I want to help. I want to co-parent. I still want to come to a visit or two with you, even if you don't want me there all the time. Then you can strike a balance, you know.
Every other
What is the delivery plan? You know, who is gonna pick you up when it's time for delivery? I will assert yourself and let her know that you are ready and willing to be there for her in
So
that
if she
capacity.
doesn't want you there, then you could pick up, drop off,
At
or
least.
Yeah,
I'll bring
do
you
something.
your meals. There's so many
And
ways.
does that help in ultimately the pregnancy and the outcome?
Oh, I
you know?
can't overemphasize how. That was an awesome question. I mean, the women who do well in pregnancy are the women who are well supported. Not to mention delivery. Support is necessary and critical to the successful outcome.
So even
For
if you're not
sure.
thinking about the woman, you know,
You
have to
can think about your child, right?
I always was concerned that I do not want you to have a stressful pregnancy
Right.
because I'm convinced the child in there can sense stress in the environment, in your body.
Something
And
like
I don't
that.
want you to even have that.
Something like
You
that.
can't stress them out before them.
Well, guess what?
Exactly.
Stress will come, but you can assist her to cope.
Right.
And don't contribute as much.
And
Yeah,
don't contribute.
yeah.
Correct.
You know, one thing I took to learn, like, to this day, I still have a bottle of cologne in my car.
Oh, Jesus.
Because there are certain things, like, okay.
Hypersensitivity, hypersense of smell.
And that is a part of the annoyance, like you just
Yes.
annoy her with every. So like
Yes.
there are certain things I get ready in my
That
car
was a
or in my
big thing
office.
for me and my husband too. Actually, I just moved out his colognes. Look, man.
Yeah.
And then him is a man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I say, yo, just
Like-
spray over
so
there,
like-
please.
So like I have a get ready.
Yes.
I start getting ready here, and then I have my other things
Yes.
In the
so
car.
So when I spray,
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
still have cologne in the car because
Yes.
literally my
Yes.
everyday cologne
So
is
maybe
in
you
the
can
car.
tell us what are some of the
Serious
little. I know it varies from woman to woman, but are there like some little triggers that men should look out for and should like that was a great one, like the
cologne thing.
Is there anything that we should just kind of?
Okay. Food preparation is a big one for a lot of women. They don't like to smell the food being prepared.
Oh, them rather
So,
finished product.
right. So, of course, you as the ultimate support system, you should be doing some cooking, especially in the first trimester when she makes her special requests. And you can remove her from the area of the kitchen as best as possible as you start cutting up the onions. And I mean, just a thought of it now, I'm remembering how the onion and the scallion used to upset me.
You feel
Like terribly, I'm feeling sick now. That it's that bad, So food preparation, especially seasoning raw meat, that one is usually a no-no. Definitely any sweet smelling soaps, cologne, as you mentioned. As men, sometimes your feet can get a little not so pleasant smelling. So, you want to get your socks and your shoes, if they're not smelling so great, out of her way, that kind of thing. Any kind of trigger with a strong smell or strong odor.
All right. Now, Doc, we're going to detain you for a little while longer, right? But we've got to take a break and wrap the meat of the matter. For the extra conversation with the doctor, please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got some extras with Dr. Michelle Campbell coming up for you, which you can only get it on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to youtube.com/Jamaican Dadz. We're going to take a break and come back with more after this.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Jamaican Dadz podcast. If you're just joining us, it's now time for Fresh to Death and the discussion today. Remember, you can participate in the discussion by using the hashtag Jamaican Dadz with a Z on Twitter. You can also hit us up on all our other social media platforms. Well, as Garth mentioned earlier, we are looking at choosing the right deodorant for you. Last time around, we spoke about managing body odor, and a popular, efficient tool to fight your body odor is deodorant. But which type is the right one for you? Because everybody has different opinions about what works
Yeah,
for them.
absolutely. But it's not going to be a long, complicated conversation, to be honest, because there are some things you have to think about in that regard. I mean, there are many factors which have to be taken into consideration before you select a deodorant. There are different forms of deodorant, such as a traditional spray or cream. Yeah, I never come across a cream myself. Yeah, as well as gel. All right,
Gel,
you don't need gel, right? But you have to understand the application which you wish to go for.
Almost say Old Spice there.
Right? Now, the more product you apply to your skin, the more effective it is on bacteria and odors. And just remember,
Yes, so?
yeah.
So you need to kill yourself with product?
No, you don't have to kill yourself because, I mean, there is a critical point, right? But generally, you have to remember, for example, for your armpits, right? Your armpit is literally a defined area, right? So if you generously apply across that area, then what you're doing, you're giving yourself the best chance possible to not kill off anybody with your BO, right? Because remember now, it's the sweat that acts with the bacteria on your skin and
That
it breaks
creates
down
the
into
smell.
some kind of acidic form, and that is that's what gives you that whole thing,
Ew.
right? So generally speaking, if you apply the product generously, you are giving yourself the best chance against body odor.
coverage,
Good.
yeah.
Now you have to. It's a test and go thing, right? So if you
Check yourself.
if you try roll on, you realize it not work. Don't.
For me,
no matter what
roll on is never worked.
Right.
So I grew out of roll on. I grew.
roll on that
You know, back in the remember back in the Avon days.
Yeah.
But that burgundy,
You used Avon?
that burgundy
Don't judge
or the
it.
beige one with the brown cover with the bullhorn on it.
Again, I'm sorry, we were never that poor.
Avon, I'm sorry. I'm okay with it. I accept my poverty. I accept my poverty. We used to use Avon back in the day, and I mean, you grew out of it.
We apologize for Marlon.
It's a joke, it's a joke. It's a joke.
I find the sprays, I don't like the sprays.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't like sprays.
Me just feel like them now work.
I got tricked with
I don't
Axe.
like the spray.
I remember.
No, but
I remember I got big trick, like it just didn't work
no,
for
but
me.
it was not
Well, it
supposed to be a
depends.
deodorant for honor. That was for your body.
body, right.
So what you
It's a
do
body
is
spray.
you use the
Deodorant.
like deodorant or like a degree or one of
Yeah.
them things, which is what I use under your armpits. But the Axe of it just add a little thing there for the girl them smell.
Right. Good.
But
now,
that's the difference which we talk about. You know,
right.
some of them are
So you just have to
deodorants.
try different
Some of them
products
are-
and different brands, and the one that works or the ones which work for you,
Stick
and
with them.
pick within the price point as well. You stick with them. That's literally what it is. I will tell you this: what helps though is shaving your pits.
Yes.
It don't have
Yeah,
to
well,
ball
you
like
know
your
what
hand miggle. It don't have to ball like your hand. I'm not
No,
saying
ball
no.
it. Clean.
Clip it up. Look
No,
here.
What
cut,
helps?
get rid of it.
No, I agree with knowing your deodorant, right? And there are some time limits on deodorants. They say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Them all
Right?
tell you.
And people
Yes.
don't pay attention.
Yes.
Some say 12, some say
It's 6,
24,
so- yeah.
some say 48.
My rule
Yo,
of thumb is
read the thing them before you
whatever
buy
it
them.
say, if it's a 12 hour, no pass it.
No
That's
pass
my
it.
rule of
Yeah.
thumb.
Yeah. And there are different ways to go around this whole thing, right? But find what works for you. Why I mentioned shaving and clipping is because
Shave.
the less hair that you have in the
sweat.
pit, one less sweat, less likelihood of body odor because hair hangs on to odors, and also you get a better chance to cover the
So
skin.
I'm to the man them frowns because I under them pubic area, like and not your arms. and
Well,
all.
now, that's a whole
That's a
nother
different
topic.
show. That's a-
And I said, like you can use deodorant. It's some roll on.
All right, and that's it for Fresh to Death. You're listening to the Jamaican Dadz podcast. We're coming right back after this with Dad Try This.
Today's Dad Try This tip is about making eating fruits fun time and not so much of a chore. And this is something that I saw Garth do on social media the other day. And it looked like it was successful. Was it successful?
Absolutely. It's called Fruit Tuesday. In fact, if you search Instagram and Twitter and hashtag Fruit Tuesday, you'll probably see something with me and the kids goofing around with fruits and having a good time. So you would have experienced this, Floyd, for sure, and you're probably around there now, Marlon and Dennis, where you're trying to get them to eat as many different types of foods as possible, especially fruits. Because
Do they eat fruits?
No, Judah greedy. Him name everything. So
All
I
right,
have a
all
problem
right,
there.
All right, Jackson refuses to eat mango
Okay.
and ripe banana. You know, so like
Give
I
him-
was hoping
Hold
like
on.
I'd get an early video with him eating the mango. You know that baby eating mango picture that everybody has?
No, try
Absolutely not.
mix it in with yogurt.
Absolutely
tried that?
not. He will
No.
not.
Oh, he's not
I'm
into the
telling you,
flavor at all.
Absolutely
All right, fine.
not.
No problem.
But he loves pineapple and he loves Otaiti apple, which I don't
Yeah,
like.
Nick love Otis.
He love Otaiti apple. He love pineapple.
Not too bad.
You know,
love
so
everything.
I just
Yeah.
work with what he eats.
My kids are big now, right? But we've always been trying to get them to eat fruits. And they really do appreciate a wide variety of them. So what I do on Fruit Tuesday now is that them eating less fruits now, or they're less interested to eat fruits now that them grown than when them did younger. So to keep it interesting for them, what I do is Fruit Tuesday. On a Tuesday, what we do, and it started after going to the farmers markets organized by the ministry, get different fruits and teach them about the fruits. Right? So sometimes it might be a fruit that we know already, and sometimes it's a fruit we've never tried before. So they've never tried honeydew, they've never
Okay.
tried cantaloupe
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
Why is cantaloupe
Right.
not fruit?
It's
I'm
just
sorry.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Cantaloupe
Right?
not for
Great.
eat.
No,
I
it's
understand.
great.
I'm with Nick them.
Right?
Don't they love it now?
Yeah, they love it now. So I taught them about cantaloupes and honeydew and then watermelon and pineapple and mango and bananas and Otaiti apple. Or every Tuesday we pick a different fruit and we just learn about the fruit, and I show them videos on YouTube, and then we make like fruit smoothies and them kind of thing, or fruit popsicles. And if you don't know how to make a fruit popsicle, here's what you do. Just blend out the fruits, right? Use a regular ice tray, right? Put it in the freezer, and when it starts to get a little slushy, you pop in a fudge stick into it and just let it remain. Once it's fully frozen, you pop it out, and there you go. Fruit Tuesday. So give it a try. You can thank me later.
I still maintain that cantaloupe is something where when you go to hotel and them give you a fruit, like a fruit salad, and you just eat round it.
Cantaloupe is one of the best.
Me not care
Honeydew,
when
one of the
nobody
nicest
say.
fruits.
So when you grow up poor,
you don't have to
you learn to
resort.
appreciate.
Oh,
Right?
because I'm
So
from
you don't have
Manchester.
options. You just eat whatever forward, so you
Yeah.
just work with it.
We had Granny Smith apples and all these things. What's
no.
a Otaiti?
What-
I'm joking. I joke me a make.
Dude,
Love them
I'm
something
sorry,
else.
dude.
No, I had a wide. No, the
Jamaican
thing
apple
is,
tastes much better.
what is that? We had a wide range of fruits and such, but cantaloupe was just not something that we had. Star apple, sweet sap, all of them things. And that's what
Right.
we had, between Manchester and Clarendon.
Okay.
But I think you being St. Elizabeth would have been more exposed to those.
A wider variety.
So,
yeah. All right. So that's it for Dad Try This. You can make it Fruit Tuesday or any day of the week.
Fruit any day.
Fruit any day. All right. Good stuff. Dennis.
Well, that's it for today. We've come to the end of the podcast for today. So thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for joining the community. Definitely.
Remind
Give
them
us a
to
follow
subscribe.
on Instagram. Yeah, subscribe, like the video as well, and just
YouTube.
share with your friends, your family, because we're trying to ensure that people have as much information as they need.
And give us feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And listen, do us a favor. What you're going to do with this video and with all other videos, you're going to find 5 persons in your contact list to send it to.
Share.
Just fine.
Share
Share
it with
and
them.
support, and make sure you click that subscribe on YouTube, and make sure you click like the video and just share it. Take the link and all, and just send it in one of your WhatsApp groups.
There you go.
You know what we also appreciate? Those emails.
Yes.
We got a really good email.
A whole bunch of them,
couple,
actually.
yeah.
So there was one that I was reading that it just really touched me, because I'm like, you're really having the desired impact when you get emails.
And I saw one, like, let me just pop right into the IG page right now. I saw it, and I was reading that, and I really liked that, because it was from a young father, as he said.
All right, and in the meantime, just remember the email address is JamaicanDadspodcast@gmail.com. So please send us that email, JamaicanDads with a Z, podcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at Jamaican Dads.
I was saying,
and here's
episode was real good. Thank you for the tips at the end. I'll be a first-time dad in October. Wicked.
Big
Libra,
up.
big up yourself.
Yeah.
October, make sure it says the last part of October, as in the Libra section.
No, as
from
in the
last
Scorpio.
I mean, not the last part, the first part of October.
Scorpio
Sorry.
part. Yeah, man,
Stay
you're
away
right,
from the
you're
Scorpio
right, the
part.
Scorpio
Early
part,
part, the
man.
Libra
Yeah,
part. That's a good part. Up to the 23rd
No.
is good.
No.
After that,
No.
can't swear
Damn
for it.
it.
Tashi is a Virgo. I'm not a Virgo, a Scorpion, so you will know that go. And he says, I'm an only child who was not really close to my dad like everyone else on the show. So I'm really glad for this medium. And we're really glad that we're assisting and helping.
Yeah, man, for real.
So share it with 10 friends.
Absolutely.
Good
Well,
stuff.
till next time, I'm Dennis.
I'm Marlon. Whoops.
Always Floyd.
I'm Garth, and we are
Jamaican Dadz.
Until next time, stay safe.